It's Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have the Marvel Legends Onslaught Build-A-Figure. So this was originally released in the first Captain America series of this year, 2016, and he was the first Build-A-Figure for it. Of course, this was a Build-A-Figure that did take quite a while to get completely right, basically. Obviously, in this original wave, it came with the Red Skull head, and was originally going to have a Rogue in this wave that included the actual Onslaught Magneto helmet head. But of course she was delayed for an X-Men wave, and then the head ended up going in with Kitty Pryde. So now that I have that X-Men wave, I finally have the a completed Onslaught Build-A-Figure, or at least completed in a more classic sense. So let's get talking about it. I didn't review this guy when he first came, so I figured once I got this new head, then it would be the proper time to do the review for it. So overall, this figure is pretty decent. It's a decent figure, but as far as Build-A-Figures go, I get all the Build-A-Figures from Marvel Legends, and, nowadays, since Hasbro's making them, and this is one of my least favorite Build-A-Figures that I've received from Hasbro, which is unfortunate, as far as in this scale, the small Build-A-Figures like Kit Monkey and stuff like that, those weren't great either, but as far as an actual, real Build-A-Figure, this one is on the lower end of the others. But let's talk about it. First of all, the sculpt is nice. It's, relatively plain. He has some, sharp edges on his chest there, and he's a very sharp figure for the most part. A lot of his panels and everything are cut very nicely and sharp, as you can see with the knee pads and everything like that. Overall, quite nice. The paint is where this guy kind of falters. The purple and red color scheme, I think, is a pretty nice color scheme. The only issue is with it, it's so plain. There is virtually no attempt at shading. There is a couple areas with something a little bit better. However, for the most part, it is just a flat red and a glossy purple. That's about it. The areas that do have a bit more than that are on the legs here. These lines are outlined in black, and therefore the red has a darker appearance to it. Same thing with this. It kind of shaded in some black to give it a little bit more complexity and make it feel a little bit more instant. And then you have a bit of it on the shoulder there. The shoulder though is mainly hidden by that shoulder pad though, so you really don't get to see it much. But then for the most part, it's all the flat colors, basically. I do like the fact that the purple is metallic. Just wish that there was a bit of a wash in there to make it look a little bit better than it is. As it is at the moment, it looks kind of cartoony, which I have to say is not something I do. I don't really like that. I would have much preferred a more comic look rather than a cartoon-like one. His little back shell piece, it's very thin, and unfortunately, it doesn't stay very flat. I wish that it was more sculpted to actually fit his back. I wish that there was actually ridges there for the piece of his shoulder joint to kind of fit into, so that it would fit more naturally, because as it is now, it's on a long peg that is just kind of being stretched. There you go. Or it's being, there's quite a bit of the peg that's not in his back. That's purely because you just can't get it very flush on his back, and it can still swivel. So if you need to do a pose where his arm is going back, you can swivel it out of the way, which is nice, but then obviously it is swiveled to one side when you look at it from that angle. The shoulder pads are nice, they're pretty bulky, and they are on a hinge, so they can, get out of the way a little bit, nothing too amazing there. Overall articulation, first of all, let's talk about this new head sculpt, and I'll also talk about the Red Skull one. Alright, this new head sculpt is pretty nice. It's obviously a Magneto helmet, but the inside is just black with some blue eyes, a nice metallic purple that's outlining the helmet, and then the helmet itself is just red. So overall, the head is actually pretty decent. As far as articulation, it's on a ball joint as well as a hinge, but it's very hard. The way that his head is kind of inside this little kind of shell area, it's very hard to manipulate the hinge, so it's mainly just a ball joint. He has ball hinge shoulders, which can go out this far because of the shoulder joints. And then as far as it going up, it can go up a decent amount. However, you need to get it perfectly lined up so that it can go up into like this little ridge there. So that's as far as up as it'll go. So there are restrictions on the shoulder joints, unfortunately. There's a swivel at the bicep, swivel hinge elbows, hinge swivel wrists as well. You have a ball joint upper torso, which can go side to side a pretty decent amount. It can go forward a little bit, and then it can go back quite far, but of course you will pop off this this back piece if you do extend it back. And I'm just going to take it off for the rest of the articulation. You have a ball hinge thigh, so it can go out this far, and it can swing to the side pretty far. He has double hinge knees, which work great, and then he has hinge pivoting ankles. The pivot works quite well. So overall articulation is pretty standard Marvel Legends, however a bit restricted in the shoulder area and slightly restricted in the head. Obviously, he's such a big figure, he doesn't need the head, like he's not meant to, you know, be flying or anything like that, so the head articulation isn't super necessary. However, it is still, you know, it's disappointing that you can't fully take advantage of that hinge there. Going over the other head sculpt, this is the head sculpt that comes with Taskmaster, and unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but this head, like, since I've had it off, it's almost like it's, doesn't fit very well. Maybe you just have to push down really hard on it, but, the Red Skull head looks pretty decent. I like the sculpt of the Red Skull head a lot. I think that it looks great. It's very skeleton-like, you know. And I love the different interpretations of the Red Skull heads that we see in comics. I'm a big Red Skull fan, so I really do like this head a lot. I think that it looks great, and I'm a big fan of the sculpt and everything. But of course, it doesn't fit, you know, on an Onslaught body. There is a comic storyline where Red Skull does kind of don this Onslaught look. However, it's obviously not what you'd expect. You know, it doesn't really fit, other than that one obscure, you know, comic where that does happen. So, you know, it comes from something which is kind of neat. However, it's not super necessary. This would have been a nice, you know, little extra to include, like, with the Magneto style Onslaught head, so you kind of get both of them, but unfortunately this does come by itself, and for the longest time this is like how you've had to have your Onslaught displayed, because the actual one hasn't been released, you know, until now with this X-Men wave. So overall, really do, and also that head sculpt, if you want to use that Red Skull head for like an actual Red Skull figure, it doesn't really fit. It is quite a bit big. You can like put it on a suited body, however the head sits way too low, so you know, it will take some customizing to get it to fit, you know, with an actual Red Skull normal size figure. But I hope it would be great if they use it again and just scale it down. That would be awesome, because I really do like that head sculpt. So even though it doesn't, you know, work on Onslaught, it could make for a really nice actual Red Skull figure. Alright, so overall, pretty, you know, not the best figure. It's a nice sculpt. I like the sculpt. It articulates pretty well. The paint really lets it down, though, I have to say. And the Onslaught Build-A-Figure that came in the in the Toy Biz version is obviously based on a different style of Onslaught, more of an Ultimate Onslaught, but that one, if you just look at the two of them, the colors on that one are so much better. They have a lot more shading than obviously than this one. This one is very plain looking, to be honest. Here he is compared to the normal size Marvel Legends figure. As you can see, he does kind of tower over him. He's not, you know, super bulky, not like Rhino Abomination or Juggernaut bulky, but he is pretty bulky. He's obviously much bulkier than like Absorbing Man or Odin or something like that. So overall, you know, it's a fair Build-A-Figure. Nothing fantastic, nothing too bad though. And unfortunately, you do need 7 figures to build him, and that's not including both heads. If you want both heads, you'll have to buy 8 figures to build him. So whenever you have to buy more than 6 figures to build a figure, I do expect more that you should be like getting a better Build-A-Figure. And unfortunately, this one is pretty standard nonetheless, even though you have to buy 7 or 8 figures to actually build him. So there you go. That's my video review of the Marvel Legends Onslaught Build-A-Figure. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the figure.